We've talked about a lot of things. Remember that this is the beginning of it, so it's a whole lot of talking and giving definitions and everything. But yes, we've seen that a value that describes the entire population is called parameter, and it is like it is. We don't really state it like we do the statistic which represents a sample. S statistic for sample. A value that represents a sample. We can say that the average height of this sample of university students is 1.7 meters or 170 centimeters, right? And then for the parameter, we can then say that the average height of all the students in the university, once you are now saying it is for all students in the university, it becomes a parameter. You can then say you can say based on this now, you are giving it as a conclusion. Remember that you didn't measure the whole thing. You measured the sample. You calculated for the sample. And now you are using it to then conclude for the whole university to say it is probably close to 1.7 meters, okay? It is somewhere close to 1.7 meters, or it is about 1.7 meters. Usually we put it like that. Anyway, that is for parameter and statistic. Population, sample, we talked about it. Population, the entire group you wish to study. And then sample, it is the selected group or part of the population from which you are going to then collect data. So first you choose a group, then you start collection of data. So before we talk about collecting data, we're going to talk about us choosing a group, which is sampling. Now, sampling, although, is going to be what we are talking about when we start with the things, okay? Because there's going to be collecting data, organizing, and analyzing. So in collecting data, you choose the group you want to collect from. It's part of the collection, and that is going to be sampling. So what are we going to study then in the semester? That we said we're going to study these three, and now we're about to go and learn about them, and this is going to be called descriptive statistics, okay? What is the descriptive statistics? It is when we look at those three parts of statistics. We are not going to be drawing only on any conclusions. No conclusions are going to be drawn. We're just going to study, we're just going to collect, we're just going to organize, and we're just going to analyze or summarize the data. Okay? Only stating facts, nothing else. And that is what we should talk about right now, which is the two key areas of statistics. We know that we are only going to look at one, which is descriptive for the whole semester. No inferential statistic. So what is descriptive statistics? It's the branch of statistics. Statistics is a branch of mathematics. Descriptive statistics is the branch of statistics which only deals with or works to collect, organize, and summarize. Remember, we said summarize is the other word for analyze data. So it only presents facts and does not draw conclusions or make any predictions. So no decision making or conclusions are made in descriptive statistics. Okay, hope you see that. Now in inferential statistics, to infer is to conclude. So we're now saying, okay, we're now going beyond describing data. We are now going to conclude the data. So in inferential statistics, we are going beyond it. We are going to then use the sample of data. Remember that we're going to collect and analyze and organize collect, organize, and analyze data from a sample. Now we'll then use it to draw conclusions. And that is done in inferential statistics. To infer is to conclude. Okay, and there are ways in which it's done. Okay, there are things that they use: confidence intervals, hypothesis testing, some other types of probability, and this is going to be used to then draw conclusions about the larger populations, to make predictions. So we use the data we have collected from the sample to then make predictions about the larger populations. Generalization, to say, using this, we can therefore say blah, 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 blah. Okay? Now, in the semester, when you do collecting, organizing, and analyzing, in collecting, remember, I'm already giving you a hint, because these things, you're going to go through them in your slides. You're going to start seeing yourself going through sampling. After sampling, you're going to see yourself going through ways of collecting data, the types of data. This is going to be in collection of data, right? So in collection of data, you're going to talk about sampling, where you first break data down into or where you first choose the group you want to select data from. And then after sampling, you now start collecting the data. You need to know the types of data and the ways in which you can collect data. And then after that, you talk about organizing the data. In organizing the data, you're going to be learning about things like how we can organize it or arrange it neatly, like things using frequency tables, stem and leaf diagrams, two-way tables, bar graphs, all these other things you learn about it, things that we're using to organize the data, to organize it, or to arrange it, okay? Then we'll learn about things that we use to analyze or summarize the data. When we want to summarize the data, we'll be wanting to then have a value that then represents that data or whatever, and we use things like mean, median, mode. We'll be finding values that tell us something about the data. They then summarize it for us to understand it and be able to draw conclusions from it. So we will be now, when you start learning about mean, median, mode, and you're going to learn about mean in different things. You're going to learn about mean, and you're going to learn about random variables. You're going to learn about distributions, probability distributions. You're going to see about that. Remember, that is now part of analyzing or summarizing the data. Summarizing the data is going to be long. It's going to involve a lot of things, okay? It's going to involve a whole lot of things. And remember, I've told you now, it's going to be part of the analysis of the data, or the summary of the data, the summarizing of it. Okay? So remember that. So what did we say? Collecting, we'll learn about it. This is the first thing you're going to be learning about. Part of the collection, it's statistics. Remember, you have to talk about collection. So you talk about sampling, where you select a group in which you want to then collect data from. Then we start to learn about the types of data and how we can collect it. Then from there, you go to organizing, where you talk about stem and leaf diagrams, frequency tables, whatever you're going to learn. Then you now go to analyzing, and in analyzing the data, you are now talking about things like mean, median, mode, standard deviation, normal distribution. You're going to learn about those things. There's going to be a lot. Now, anyway, this is it for statistics, and that is it for some of the intro. We keep going. See you in the next. We meet in the next video. Goodbye for now.